A very good noon to all of you. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible. Need to know this before we begin? Right. So I welcome you to this session. Today we are going to talk about vocabulary. So this session is going to be relevant for all your management entrance tests, right? Be it MHCT, be it CMAT, whichever management entrance test you're taking, be it TISNET, vocabulary through fill in the blanks is something that is asked in all management entrance tests. CAT does not ask it directly, but developing this sense, developing this logic that how you should navigate through contextual vocabulary questions also helps you in inferring the meanings of words in your reading comprehension passages. So it will be helpful for CAT as well. Right. So I welcome you all to this session. I hope all of you are doing well. Yes. And all of you are preparing for various entrance tests at this point. Yes, some of you for TISNET, some for MHCT, some are starting the prep for CMAT. Yes, and some of you are in for the long term. You are preparing for CAT 2023. So this session is relevant for all of you people, right? So this is what we are going to learn today. We are not just going to solve questions. Through questions, we are going to see how to infer meaning contextually, right? Which is something that's going to be very relevant for you for any indirect question in English that you might encounter in the exam. And of course, we are going to solve a good number of questions also today. That's also on the agenda. Right. So on this note, let's begin. Okay. So here is our first question on your screens. Yes. I hope it is visible to you. Good noon, Luffy. So here's your first question. Let's solve a good number of questions today. Yes. Tell me what the answer should be to this question. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Let's see what you say. Okay, waiting for your responses. Not such a lengthy question, is it? Luffy, okay. All right, Luffy. Tell me what the answer to question 1 should be. 4 options. So Jessuman says B. All right. Others? Yes. Come on, come on. Okay. Luffy also says B. All right. So should we lock B? Yes. Lock कर दिया जाए B को. All right then. I am locking in B from your end. Now let's see whether this is the correct answer or not. And through this question, we are going to learn how to look at various contextual vocabulary questions, or how to infer the meaning of words, how to infer what is the author trying to convey to us from the surrounding words. Okay, so a growing number of these expert professionals dash having to train. So they are required to train foreigners. Okay, as the students end up dash the teachers who have to then unhappily contend. So who are these? Who the teachers? Okay, the teachers have to then unhappily contend with no jobs. So they are left with no jobs at all, or new jobs with drastically reduced pay packets. Right? So a negative scenario is described in this paragraph. Right? So welcome can be rejected very easily, and I'm sure all of you rejected welcome pretty easily. So they won't welcome this. If they are the ones who are being replaced, they are the ones who are being left with no jobs or reduced pay package, they will not welcome this, right? So welcome eliminated. Okay, now are having to train, supplanting. Okay, why not D? Why not D? Is this construction correct? Are having to train, I am having to do this or I have to do this? It should be I have to do this, right? And not I am having to do this. So this construction is incorrect grammatically. So see, in your exam, right, your grammar can also help you in attempting your vocabulary questions. So that is why pay attention to the word, to whether a word fits grammatically in the particular context or not. Here it does not. All right. Now coming to these two. These were the two close options here. Okay. So now this word, this is challenging the teachers. Are they challenging them or are they replacing them? See, they are being left with no jobs. Okay, so that means these people, these foreigners are also entering the very same jobs, right? They are also taking up the very same jobs. So they are replacing. Okay, so a growing number of these expert professionals resent having to train foreigners, as the students end up replacing the teachers who have who have to then happily contend with no jobs at all, or new jobs. So they are replaced, so that's why they have to either search for a new job or they'll be left with no job. So replacing is the word that fits better here as compared to challenging, and hence A is my answer and not B. Make sense? Perfect. So A is our answer. And this is how we attempt a contextual vocabulary question. I paid attention to the tone here, right? I paid attention to the surrounding words, the context here, right? Let's number them. Things that I paid attention to. And I also paid attention to grammar here, right? Okay. Coming to the next question. Yes, question 2. Tell me what the answer should be here. Quick responses I need. These are, 40, 50 second questions, not more than that. Let's see what you say. There's a comma that's missing. Just let me just add that comma as well. I've got D. Okay. Luffy, what is your answer? Social studies, science, matters of health and safety. These are three separate things here, so they need a comma. Luffy says A. So I've got A and D. Jesuman, what do you say? Ayushman, what about you? Okay, Apurva says A. All right. So are these things? We're talking about some areas, some arenas, some fields, right? So these are subject areas, right? I can't call them things, can I? So because of this word things, A is rejected. Because of the context, we are talking about subjects here, we're talking about fields here, areas here. So those words fit better as compared to things, right? Okay, what else did I get? I got D also as a response, I think. Yes, I got D. I've also got C and B. Okay, so basically everything. But tell me something. In the second blank, now again I'm going by the context. These areas are few of the dash for the dash of proper emotional reactions. We are probably trying to cultivate proper emotional reactions, right? Now, for the basis of proper emotional reactions, does that make sense? Can these form the basis of your reactions, or can they help you to cultivate, grow, inculcate, form your emotional reactions? So they cannot form the basis of your reactions, these areas. Okay, your emotional reactions are a product of external stimuli, agreed, but then your hormones, your neurology, that plays a big role in the in being the basis of your emotional reactions. These are not the basis, right? Okay, we are left with these two. Now, between these two, tell me which is better, C versus D. So, Meet, you were right in narrowing down to C and D. Good, Jasmine, good. And I've got a lot of D's now. Absolutely correct. You guys are absolutely correct. D is the answer. So these areas are few of the important areas. Fertile fields, the moment I read it, the picture of a field came into my mind, a green field that is fertile and that has crops growing on it. I understand that we can talk about it metaphorically also. But the moment you hear fertile fields, it gives you the impression of those green fields on which crops are grown. Moreover, that was not my only basis. We are not going by conjectures here. My basis was actually the second blank, inculcation versus formation. Okay, inculcation means that, okay, someone is trying to develop or cultivate a habit, cultivate something in you, right? So it's something that is done by another. Whereas when you read these subjects, when you study these, you form your own opinions, you form your own reactions. So formation is a word that fits better here. These lead to the formation. Inculcation is usually done by parents, teachers, right? By active agents like those. Whereas when you study something, from that you form something for your opinion, your reactions. So formation is a better word, and hence D Delhi. Okay, fertile fields gives the impression of crops, inculcation gives the impression of a person actively cultivating something, and hence D Delhi. Hope this makes sense. Subtitles, that's not in my hands. If in case you know some way through which I can do that, please tell me. I'll do that. Okay. Coming to our next question here, question 3. These are your options. So again, pay attention to the context, and this one is an easy question. Let's see what you say. So Luffy, which book have you been reading? Is it fiction, non-fiction? See, because in novels, in fiction, the writer has a lot of freedom to experiment, right? Nobody has asked the writer to strictly stick to grammatical rules. So, moreover, the writer can experiment with dialects, slangs, right? So, that freedom is there. So, that is why sometimes we find it difficult to understand. I'll give you an example of a novel called Beloved. Now, it's a novel by Toni Morrison, and when the novel begins, you have to get used to the slang, the dialect of the central characters, right? And getting used to it takes some pages. So for those number of pages, for those 20 pages, it is a hard novel, right? Similarly, it may not just be associated with the language when you are reading a novel. It could also be because of the fact that there's a lot of information that is being thrown at you right in the beginning. That could be the case. And in yes, fiction, we don't care about grammar as much. Of course, we do care about basic grammar so that our readers can understand us, but not as much, right? That is there. A versus D, but there are a number of factors that can make something, some language, some particular genre hard for me. It is not just grammar or lack of it. Okay. A versus D, that's what I'm getting from you. All right. So basically, what does a headline contain? When I ask students to read newspaper editorials, when I ask students to see that, okay, whether you should read an editorial or not, I tell them two things. First, see the headline because the headline usually compresses the gist. So that will give you an idea about the topic, the purpose of the author behind writing on that topic. And second, I tell them to see the source. From what source is this article coming? So let's say there is an article on politics from a particular politician. Of course, it will be biased in the sense that it could be biased towards his or her party, right? So these are the two things that you should check when you read newspaper editorials. The headline, because it gives you the gist, right? And the source. So here synopsis can come and even gist can come. Okay, you are absolutely right in narrowing down to A and D. B and C can be rejected on the basis of the first blank itself. It can't have the totality of the news. The entire news can't be written in the headline. Okay, and not the bias. Okay. Now he must do it without reservations, without ambiguity, which is better considering that this person is a headline writer. So your headlines should be clear, isn't it? There should be no ambiguity in them. So it is D which is better than A, right? Ambiguity is better as compared to reservations. Reservation means restraint, isn't it? Reservation means restraint. So if I say, I have my reservations about this new policy, that means I am not really sure whether it's going to work or not. I'm not really sure whether it's a sound policy or not. Right. So reservations means when you have doubts, when you have restraints, constraints about something. So here, no, this person saying that this person must do it without restraint, without any restraints, that will rather go against the spirit of reporting. You need to be objective when you're reporting something. So this person needs to follow certain restrictions, needs to be objective, needs to be concise. So reservations does not fit, but yes, the person definitely needs to be clear. Okay, not ambiguous. Hence D Delhi. Make sense? Ambiguity, yes, absolutely correct, Jasuman. Something that is ambiguous is unclear, right? Okay, so I hope these questions are helping you to understand how to solve these vocabulary fill in the blank questions in all your exams that are coming up. Yes, let's see another question then. Four options again. Let's see what you say. OED here is the Oxford English Dictionary. So I've got B Bangalore. What else? Okay. All right. So I've got more of B's here. Okay. I think this is an easy one. Yes. So when I say it is designed for scholars and research workers rather than for the dash dictionary user, right? So scholars and research workers are the professionals, aren't they? So it is designed for those professionals rather than for the average user, right? Rather than for the lay person. That's what I want to say. So professional therefore should be eliminated. Omniscient. Yes. Who will tell me the meaning of this word? Omniscient. Omni plus science. And of course, the nt has been used as a suffix here. Okay. Omni plus science. Omnivorous, omnipresent, omnipotent. You know these words, isn't it? Omnivorous, omnipotent, omnipresent. So omni means something that is everywhere, right? So omni means all. Science means to know. Okay, science means to know. In fact, science also means a systematized knowledge, right? That's why science comes from science. So science means knowledge. Here it will become knowing, and science means systematized knowledge. It comes from this root only, science. So omniscient is a person who is all knowing. Usko sab pata hai, right? That person knows everything. So an all knowing person. So omniscient is a word that is positive in nature, right? It is basically not negative. Whereas when you want to disparage someone, when you want to insult someone because they pretend to know everything, you call them a know it all. Oh, he always pretends to be a know it all, right? That has a negative connotation, whereas this does not carry a negative connotation. So omniscient, no, it's not the all-knowing dictionary user for which it is not meant, right? In fact, we want something like average or lay person here, the average dictionary user. So eliminated. Omnivorous, somebody who eats everything. Omnipotent, all powerful. Omnipresent, present everywhere, right? We have a word called omnicompetent also. Omnicompetent. This person is competent in everything, all able in a way, right? Omnicompetent. So remember these words that have omni in them. All right, perfect, all of you. Right, now assembled versus compiled. Forget casual assiduous. A dictionary, is it assembled? Is it a computer? Is it a machine? Usually, something that has parts, machinery, that is assembled. So dictionaries are compiled. To compile something means to take something from various sources and then put it together, right? So for instance, your school magazine, your college magazines, what do? They compile articles from various students and then publish them in that magazine. So the dictionary also compiles. Why? Because it takes sentences from various sources. Of course, it takes words from various sources. It does not create its own words as such, right? So compiled. And casual absolutely fits there. The average user is the casual user, not an expert user, right? So B Bangalore is the answer here. Through this, we also learned the root, the prefix omni, right, which means all. Okay, now let's come to the next question. Question 5 says something about Hungarians. Let's see what you mark here. Oh, yes, I forgot assiduous. Assiduous is somebody who's very hardworking and sincere. That person is assiduous. Okay. Ardus is something that demands a lot from you. Assiduous is used for a person who's hardworking and sincere. So don't confuse the two words. That's why I give you the meaning of ardus also. All right. So for this, I've got C. All right. We have a new word here, OTOs. Yes. Not used very often. So I've got just one response. What about others? Karishma also says C. Tree lined by trees. So basically, this is uh, these are houses, okay, and on the side there are trees. So this we'll call it a tree lined avenue if the entire area is lined by trees like that. Hello, Prateek. That's okay. That's okay. So there are some high frequency words here. Now, those of you who, after my telling you a zillion times, actually started WordPar Made Easy and completed it, would know the meanings of a lot of these words. I'll tell you which all words are there in it. Placid, superfluous, I think noxious is also there. Then copious is also there for sure. So these words are present there. Now, placid, plaque. The root plaque means calm. So placid means calm, right? The placid look of tree-lined avenues, that makes sense. Yes, the tree-lined avenues would look very calm. And the absence of dashed exhaust fumes. So exhaust fumes from cars, are they harmful or are they useful? Are they redundant? Superfluous means something that is more than necessary. Super, over, flow. Fluo means flow. More than necessary. Okay. So I did not reject this outrightly, but I'll search for better words, particularly in the second blank. Right. Now, B says OTOs. OTOs means something that's not practical, something that's also redundant. Okay, so not serving any practical purpose. And in that sense, it's redundant. So if I say that, okay, I think these measures are OTOs, that means I feel that these measures are not going to serve any purpose. Right? Poisonous means people die from some, when people die from something, okay, from something that is in the nature of a poison, that's when we call it poisonous. Okay, so poisonous exhaust fumes, are these exhaust fumes outrightly poisonous? I don't think so. Ask people who are in Delhi or from Delhi, right? So no, eliminate. Noxious means harmful. See, there is a difference between the words noxious and obnoxious. Obnoxious means wicked and mean. Okay, wicked, mean. So it is used metaphorically in that sense. Whereas noxious means something that's physically harmful for you. Right? So noxious makes it's very tempting to put here. Okay. Then C says uncluttered. What do you say about this? Uncluttered. That fits here, is doesn't it? Because see, if there are no cars that you have to park on the side of your in front of your house, the overall look of your avenue of your area will be neater, right? It will be uncluttered. A lot of times because of parking there's no space to walk. Yes, people have experienced this, I think, in and so if there are no cars the place will be uncluttered. So C makes a lot of sense. Let's narrow down to A and C. Copious means abundant, right? Copious is used for something that is abundant. So copious exhaust fumes, uh, you know, when we use the word copious, we use it to mean that, okay, we have a lot of something. So let's say we can use it positively also, negatively also, but then also with noxious, with exhaust fumes, noxious makes better sense rather than copious. Right, so uncluttered makes better sense because of all the clutter that car parking can cause. Noxious makes better sense because of fumes, and that is why when we compare these with A and D, we reject A and D, even though they are not completely incorrect. right? These areas will look calm, they'll look placid, okay, and there will be an absence of abundant of superfluous exhaust fumes that's there, but better still ye hai. So here we are now strictly going by the context. A good question, this one. We have to pay attention to precisely what has been talked about, okay, and tree lined avenues. So cluttered, uncluttered, we have to see. Okay, does it make sense to you? Why C is the answer? All the words are clear. Tranquil also means calm. Placid also means calm. Copious is abundant. Superfluous is so much that it becomes redundant. Noxious is physically harmful. Right? Okay. Let's come to the next question then. If this was clear, in case it's not clear, as I said, you can ask me. Now, in the second question, in the sixth question, again, you have two blanks and you have not very difficult words, except let's say pinnacle for some of you, untrammeled for some of you, not very difficult words. Yes. Tranquil is also calm. Okay. Something that's very peaceful. Uh, patients are sometimes given tranquilizers so that they calm down, particularly patients who are suffering from some mental disorder. Ananya says C. Okay. Okay. The Bong Paul says C. Sai says C. So Karishma also says C. Fine. So this is not a difficult question. Okay. The dash of democratic freedom is dialogue. That we talk to each other, that we discuss, debate things with each other, and the dash interchange of ideas. So free interchange, smooth interchange. That is what I'm looking at, right? So the free, in fact, if you look at the word, so unhampered means something that's not restrained, whereas this means restrained, but it does not fit with pinnacle. See, if I'm putting a negative word here, that means democracy is being compromised. If it's a restrained interchange, that means democracy is being compromised, whereas pinnacle means the peak of something. So a restrained exchange of ideas cannot be the peak of democracy. So they don't fit with each other. Eliminated. Right. Untrammeled means unrestrained. A trammel is a fish net, a particular type of fish net that is used to catch fish. So untrammeled, unrestrained. Now, if I'm putting a positive word here, then here also there should be a positive word. If there's an unrestrained interchange happening, that's a good thing. But to debase something is to denigrate it, to reduce it in its quality. That is to debase something. So therefore, I can't use a negative word. So again, both the words of A, they do not fit with each other. They are contradictory to each other, right? So that's why A is also eliminated. Between C and D. The alienation of democratic freedom is dialogue and compulsory interchange of ideas. Here we are making interchange of ideas mandatory. So if dialogue is still happening, if ideas are still being interchanged, although in a mandatory manner, it will not lead to a complete alienation of democratic freedom. Alienation means that अब है ही नहीं democratic freedom. It has become alien to you. So even this does not fit. Absolutely correct. C is the answer. The essence, the very gist, the essence, the quintessence of democratic freedom is dialogue and the unhampered, unrestrained exchange of ideas. Now they fit with each other. They are consistent with each other. Right? Hope this makes sense. So, Sai, How to be aware of these words? So you asked this question, I think in this one, right? And I told you that a lot of these words, placid, superfluous, noxious, copious, they are there in WordPad Made Easy. So the best way to learn vocabulary words, one of the best techniques that I feel is etymology, right? So learn words through the root word technique, and there are vocabulary books there to help you. So see, let's say you are preparing for MHCT. There are still about 2 months, roughly 2 months, right? You can actually finish this book in 45 days. So you do have time, right? 20 minutes every day, and it will add about 1200 words to your vocabulary, approximately 1200 words, right? So in 45 days, 1200 words, that's a good deal. So that's one way, vocabulary books. Then another way is that you can go for vocabulary quizzes. Vocabulary quizzes. Of course, reading will help you. Indirectly, you'll pick up a lot of words through reading, right? These are more direct ways of learning vocabulary that I'm telling you. The books and vocabulary quizzes. You know, some vocabulary tests are also there on our app, BYJU'S Exam Prep app. So just download it and you'll find some vocabulary tests there. In fact, on our on byju's.com and byju'sexamprep.com, on either of them, you'll also find fill in the blank questions based on vocabulary, right? So we do have various question types also dealing with vocabulary. So practice those, solve previous year paper questions, learn from these books, these quizzes. You have to make an active effort, okay? And that's how you improve at vocabulary, right? Okay, debasement is when you reduce something in quality, when you denigrate it, right? So that is the meaning. Then, okay, when you degrade it, sorry, not denigrate it, when you degrade it, that's the word that we are looking for. Degradation. Denigrate is to, when you denigrate someone, you insult them, you defame them, that is denigrate. Okay, to insult, defame, okay, yeah, belittle, that is the meaning. All right then. So I hope this is clear. And with this, we have learned a word untrammeled. And I am sure pinnacle was something that some of you knew. Can you give me some synonyms of pinnacle? Pinnacle ke synonyms. Yes. There are a number of other words that can be used to denote the peak of something. Quick, quick. Okay, top, fine. What else? Summit, absolutely correct. Summit. Then what else? Apex, very good. There's another word. Acme. Acme. Not acne, acme. Right? Let me just write it for you. Acme. ACMA. And there's one more word which will come in one of the subsequent questions. That's why, I'm making you think these synonyms, right? Another synonym will come in one of the questions. And here is that question, right? Question 7. Let's see what you say. Welcome, Prateek. So, are you asking me to suggest more books for CAT 2023? Newspapers. See, if you strictly want to read something that can that you feel in future can form an RC passage, yes, with that intent you are reading, then I recommend the editorials of foreign newspapers, international newspapers, I should call them, New York Times and the Guardian. Okay, the NYT and the Guardian. If that is your intention, that you want to read material that can tomorrow form the source of your RC passages. On the other hand, if you just want to read to improve your current affairs knowledge, which will come in handy for your personal interviews, let's say that is the intention, or for your non-CAT exams such as ZAT, IFT, etc. In that case, you can read the Hindu or the Indian Express also for Indian news, right? So my suggestion would be that you read one Indian newspaper and one global newspaper. Now you must be thinking, इतना time कहाँ है हमारे पास? Yes, so you don't have to read each and everything. Just focus more on the editorials and the international part. What is happening in the international arena? What is so when you read one of them, you'll get to know what is happening at least in the US and the UK, right? And through this, you'll get to know what is happening in your country. So that will give you a broader view, right? And apart from the students also ask me, should we read a business newspaper? um, See, reading it helps you in the sense that in case there is a business and economy RC passage tomorrow, it might help you there, and it might help you for your personal interviews, right? However, in case you do not want to read a full-fledged business newspaper, that's also okay. You can just read the business page. Just read the business page of the Hindu or the Indian Express. Okay, so that is something that you can do. Hope that answers your question. All right. Now, Eon articles definitely help, yes, because they have formed the source of your RC passages, right? B, Bangalore is what you are saying. Zenith, absolutely. She was clearly at the peak of her career, at the acme, at the apex, summit, zenith of her career. Okay, the opposite of zenith is, who will tell me the antonym of this word? सब हो जाएगा, जैसे मैंने लाइक सब 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 सही हो जाएगा, मेरा आशीर्वाद है. Yes, zenith is the peak. The opposite is, it's pronounced as nadir. Okay, not nadir, nadir. All right. So that means the bottommost point of something. The bottommost point is nadir. Absolutely correct, Shweta. Right. So this is the answer here. Ebb means receding. The ebb and flow of a tide. Yes, tide shows these movements. Flow when it comes, when it flows towards you. Ebb when it flows away from you, recedes. So she was not at the ebb of her career. Ebb would be a low point in a way, right? It would be a receding point. Then brink is edge. Brink is edge. Okay, so she was standing at the brink of, let's say, a major decision, right? That means she was just on the edge. She had to decide what she had to do. Extremity, no, again. So these don't fit at all. It's only this that fits, untarnished and zenith. Undamaged, unmarred, untainted, these also fit. They are also synonyms of untarnished only. All of these are synonyms, but because of the second blank, it's only B. Right? Okay. Perfect then. Let's come to the eighth question. Let's see what you say. How many days? See, it's an I can't guarantee that, okay, in these many days your vocabulary will improve, because why I'm not guaranteeing this. It also depends on how much you revise, right? So for instance, in Word Par Made Easy, the book itself takes care of this, that you revise from time to time. So let's say after every 3 4 chapters it asks you to revise it, right? Then whatever words you pick up from vocabulary quizzes, it depends, are you revising them, are you using them? If you don't use them, if you don't revise them, then probably you'll forget them. So revision is a very important element of learning vocabulary. And how can you revise? One is you actively revise, second is you use them in your conversations, right? And another very important way is that you read as much as you can, because what happens with me when I learn a new word, then when, let's say, I'm reading some article, I automatically notice that word. Oh, I learned this word, I know the meaning of this word. So when you read, you cement a word that you've learned. So read, use it in your conversations, and revise. When you do that, trust me, within a span of 1 month, if even if you just do word par medis, even if you're sincere just about it, you will significantly improve in terms of vocabulary, right? And of course, all of you have to do your previous year papers. Please remember that. Even your early CAT papers hold a lot of good vocabulary questions. Okay? All right. C, B. C versus B. That's what I've got. Now, uh, of course, this person has done something that's shady. Yes, experiments never carried out and published deliberately, dash scientific reports on his non-existent work. The work was not done at all. It's a clear case of fraud. Yes, so C is the only one that fits here. Fraudulent research and deliberately. See, when you do something deliberately, that means you are actively trying to cheat someone. So deceptive is a word that fits here. Deliberately deceptive scientific reports. Right? Theoretical research, challenging, and published deliberately challenging scientific reports. If a report is challenging in nature, that means it is of such good quality that it demands a lot from me. That is not the case here. The work itself has never been carried out. So it's only C that fits. Okay? All right. The ninth question, just one blank. Let's see what you say. Fraudulent is something that is in the nature of fraud, right? So if I say he's a fraudulent person, that means he's a fraudster. He is tried to cheat you, okay, to deceive you. Gratitude, it should, because it has been, because a parajumble is not something that is your own creation. You just pick it up from a source and you jumble it up. That's your only contribution to a parajumble question. So it's as objective as, let's say, a quant question, in my opinion. So in an ideal world, yes. In a moral ethical world, that should accept the objection. Okay, whether it will do it or not, that I can't comment. All right, what do you say? Question 9. We were amazed. We were surprised. Good, good. I think all of you should have objected to it. Good. Those who took that, of course. Apurva is saying D. Read this carefully. Read this question carefully and then answer. Heretofore means till now. In case you were confused by this word, stumped by this word, it is not used very often now. This is sort of Purana English, archaic English, okay? We were amazed that a man who had till now been the most dash of speakers could, in a single speech, electrify an audience and bring them cheering to their feet. So he filled them with enthusiasm, and we were amazed by this fact. Okay. Auspicious. Auspicious means something that is, opportune. Something that is shubh. In Hindi, we call it shubh, right? So bodes well for you, brings good fortune. That is auspicious. So a speaker cannot be auspicious. Occasions are auspicious, right? Occasions are auspicious. Days of the year are auspicious. That's why people marry on certain days. So it is C that is the answer. Good. Manish is pretty enthusiastic about his answer. Absolutely right, Manish. C is the answer. See, we were amazed, we were surprised that someone who had till now been such a bad speaker could, in a single speech, fill an audience with such enthusiasm that they started cheering to their feet. So We would be surprised only when earlier this person was bad, right? We will not be surprised if this person is already masterful or an expert, or if this person is already accomplished, then we will not be surprised. So A and D eliminated. Auspicious does not fit with a person. Pedestrian, unimaginative, somebody who's very ordinary. Okay, very ordinary. The word has a negative connotation, negative image associated with it. Right, the most ordinary of speakers, बहुत ही average सा speaker would be a pedestrian speaker, common speaker. Absolutely correct. So C is our answer here. Hope this makes sense. Please read the context, read the surrounding words. The surrounding words are called the context. Please read them very carefully. Okay. Now, the last question for the day. Let me see what you say. Okay. Quickly tell me. Attitude says B. Muskan C. So B versus C. So do we persuade someone from doing something? Look at the grammar here. See, I told you that the tone, the connotation as we call it, positive, negative, right? The context and the grammar also matters. Yes. So here, do we persuade someone to do something, or do we persuade someone from doing something? We persuade someone to do something. So on that basis itself, we convince someone to do something. Okay, we prevent someone from doing something, that is correct. We dissuade someone or we discourage someone from doing something. So grammatically speaking, B and D either can fit. Okay. Now they cease to hamper with me. To hamper something is to hinder it, right? So this they stopped to hinder with me. Does that make sense? Yes. So hamper is when you try to hamper an activity. That means, you are trying to impede it, you are trying to stop it from happening. So they stopped trying to protest, they stopped protesting. That's something that I'm looking at. They stopped dissuading, they stopped protesting. So remonstrate is the word for that. And this is how remonstrate is used. Remonstrate with someone, remonstrate with someone. So they ceased to remonstrate, to protest. Okay, that is the idea. B Bangalore, not D Delhi. Okay, hope this makes sense. Any word that is not clear to you, please ask the meaning right now. I hope you've learned about 25, 30 words today, at least, right? I think through the options and everything, we must have covered these many new words. And I hope you will use them so that you remember them. That's very, very important. Okay, so this is our CAT 23 comprehensive program. A new batch is available. You can enroll now and see all the features that we provide you. Live classroom sessions. Okay, there are a lot of mock tests, practice questions, so you'll not have any dearth of material, right? Plus, of course, we also prepare you for the next stage. We don't just leave you after the CAT result or any entrance test result for that matter. And we also cover vocabulary and grammar in a very comprehensive way with you. So these are not just CAT classes, okay, so to say. They cover all the exams. And yes, you can get up to a 90% scholarship on these preparation programs. So you can take the test that we are going to conduct on the 21st of January at 7 p.m. Register for it now, and rest assured it will not be as difficult as the actual CAT exam. The level is easier. All right. And in case, let's say, you are unsure about when to start your CAT 23 preparation, Srinivas sir will talk to you about why you should start it now, what benefits you will accrue if you start the prep right now. Also, in case some of you are interested in the CMAT, yes. So I can see a question related to CMAT. In case you are interested in knowing how the exam looks like, right? You also want to see where you stand as far as your CMAT prep is concerned, then we are bringing an all India open mock for you. This is a free mock, so you can register right now. The link is available in the description box and you can take it and get to know more about it. Okay. Also, you can follow us on various social media platforms. We are everywhere. Okay, we are there on Instagram, Facebook, and I hope you've subscribed to the channel already so that you get notifications for all our upcoming sessions. Apart from this, we can stay connected via Telegram also. Okay, there's a group specially for your doubts. Okay, it's where you can interact with other aspirants as well, right? And we have our own app, as I told you. There you will find some tests also for free, BYJU'S exam prep app. We also conduct a lot of CAT specific sessions there, okay, dedicated CAT sessions. In fact, in the evening today at 5 p.m., I have a session there on vocabulary where I'll talk about how to build vocabulary using etymology, the root word technique. So, in case some of you are interested, okay, preparing for various non-CAT exams, you can come and join me. Okay, all right then. I'll see you tomorrow on YT and I'll see you today at 5 p.m. on the. Bye bye. See you.